Welcome everyone who is watching this video, which might just be Miss Hernandez. So, hi Miss Hernandez. Welcome to my podcast on the book that I read, which is Just About Forever. It was a great book. It was about typical teenage troubles. Alliteration. What? Finding love, being accepted, being true to oneself, and all that great stuff. It was written by the same author, Sarah Dessen, who wrote the book Just Listen, which I actually have and I loved. So when I saw that she wrote this one, I was like, hey, why not? You know, I like Sarah Dessen, so let's do it. Overall, this was a really great book. It was a great book. There are two themes that could be in this book. One of them is forever is always changing, which makes sense considering the book is called The Truth About Forever. I wonder who didn't get that. The second one is nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. Nobody's perfect. You live and you learn it. And if I mess it up sometime, hey, nobody's perfect.
First off, the main topic in the entire book was about how forever is always changing. It's never, ever the same. Macy even said herself, Macy, the main character, even said herself that forever was so many different things. It was always changing. The other theme was nobody's perfect. Even from the beginning of the book, Macy was striving to be perfect. She claimed that, oh, well, Jason, her boyfriend at the time, was perfect, but she wasn't perfect. But she really wanted to be perfect. But perfection doesn't exist. It just doesn't. It does not exist. It just, no. When Wes, the guy that she was talking to, asked her why she always strove to be perfect, and she answered, I'm not. That is part of the problem. In the end, though, Macy finally realized that perfection does not exist. I absolutely love Sarah Dessen books because her style is amazing. Sarah Dessen is an adult. She's an adult. She's not a young adult either. But the fact that she writes novels for teenagers that actually sound relatable for teenagers is amazing. Her style, she writes as if she's actually a teenager, and it's great. So the way that she writes her dialogue, it seems like the characters are sitting right there talking, like right next to, like, I personally reading the book, I can hear the characters talking. For example, Monica, who's a friend of Macy that she met at the catering business, doesn't really talk. She does not talk. When she does talk, they're very, very basic phrases like or don't even, which is literally spelled don't even. But the way that Dessen wrote that, how she literally wrote out exactly how it sounded, made it all the more better. This little game here is basically me talking to the characters as if they were actually here right now. Ready? Let's go. Macy. Girl, you can't be perfect. Find love, be happy, be yourself. Jason. When you can marry a calculus book, let me know. Otherwise, don't treat your girlfriends like they're crap. Thanks. You lost Macy, you big smarty pants. Mrs. Queen. It's okay to cry. Really. And quit working so much. That's not healthy. It's not healthy. For you or your daughters. It's not healthy. Caroline, I love how you went from being the juvenile delinquent to the really fancy wife. Like, that was That was insane. But you seem like a really amazing person, and you're very, very supportive. Delia, you are the strongest, wisest, most amazing person in the entire book. Thank you for being a second mom to Macy. Christy, the mental picture that I have for you is insane because you have the scars, but then on top of that, you're dressed amazingly. So you're like an evil present wrapped up very, very pretty. But you're not evil. Don't get me wrong, you're not evil. You're amazing. You, ma'am, are a hidden treasure, and thank you for pointing that out to Macy, that there are hidden treasures in her life. Monica, you don't talk much, but when you do talk, you have some amazing words to say. Thank you for using the wisdom that you have to help Macy understand some things. Bert, sweetheart, you were the little brother in the book that no one really needed. So thank you for being the comic relief, because that's basically what you were. Wes, thank you for showing Macy that she can find love and that she can be happy. And to set the record straight, I was always Team Wes, even from the first time that she met you or kind of met you outside. I was Team Wes. Now go kiss her back. Another one of Sarah Dessen's books also takes place in the suburbs. There are certain places like Delia's house, for example, with she has a huge crater in her driveway. She never gets fixed ever. That's one of the places that can just be pictured so vividly. Another one of the places is the library. While I was reading, I could literally see the information desk that Macy worked at, and her sitting all the way on the end where no one could really go talk to her, with the two other co-workers who are irrelevant and their names don't have to be mentioned, sitting there helping everyone else and shunning Macy, basically. I can also see the Bertmobile, which was Bert's first car, which was really just a rundown ambulance. And I can see the sofa that was in the back of the ambulance and the super dim lighting. And it looked like a teenager nightmare. This stereotypical teenagers are bad and all they do is drink car. It's basically what it looked like. But I could picture it vividly. Another important setting that I could see vividly was the beach house. Macy's dad had a beach house, and eventually it was starting to really, really wear down. The foundation was cracking, it was awful. It was not good. But I could see it. The way that Sarah Dessen wrote it, I could vividly picture how run down yet peaceful it looked from outside. And how on the inside I could see the huge moose over the fireplace mantle and the shoes that he had sitting right by the door, exactly in the same place that he had them. I could see everything, exactly how Dessen wrote it. Now is the moment that is most significant, the plot. So basically, this story is about Macy Queen, who is a rising senior. It's currently the summer. Early summer, like June. It's super, super early in the summer. And Macy's boyfriend, Jason, who is really, really smart. He's a really smart guy. You know, he's going off, okay, so he's going off to nerd camp. No. Math camp, no. Brain camp. He's going to brain camp. So he's going off to brain camp, and he gave Macy his job at the library, working at the information desk. And he said, make sure that you do it right, blah, 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 intellectual things. And so, of course, Macy being Macy, and because she loves Jason, she agreed. But she hates it there. It's awful. No one really likes her because they don't think that she's right for Jason. But she loves Jason, even though they don't really do couple type things. They act more like friends, but Macy doesn't see that. She sees love. So eventually, things happen between Jason and Macy, and they're no longer together. And Macy starts working at a catering business that the caterer came for an event for her mother, and they needed help. So Macy ran in the kitchen and decided to help out. And the owner of the catering company, Delia, she really enjoyed Macy's help a lot. So eventually, Macy was offered a job at Wish. It's called Wish Catering. Macy loved it. She was near Wes, Christy, Monica, Bert, all her new friends that she actually enjoyed being around. She was around them all the time now that she was working with the caterer. But eventually, she had to give that up because her mom didn't approve. When parents say no, that means no, unfortunately. So Macy had to give up the catering business. At the end of the book, Macy's mother is running another party. Everything goes bananas. It goes bananas. It rains. The tent they had outside demolishes. It goes bananas. Bananas. But eventually, Macy is forced to choose between her safe, stable life, including Jason, the library job, everything stable in her life that doesn't make her happy, really, or this new life that she has now with Wes and Christy and Bert and her catering job and forever, basically. So she has to choose between the two of those. So I've probably said this way too many times. This book is almost exactly like this book, minus a lot of things. This book and the book that I read, they're pretty similar. For example, in this book, Annabelle, who is the main character, is trying to find herself after she lost all her friends, didn't have anyone to talk to. She went through a lot of things. She went through a big loss. Like Macy. Macy went through a big loss and had many friends. She had to find herself. Annabelle eventually finds love in a weirdo guy that she thought she'd never talk to. Macy eventually finds love in a weirdo guy that she never thought she would talk to. See how the two are similar? One of them was a chapter about Shakespeare. And in this book, McBee, I don't say it personally because I'm an actor, but that's another story. McBee was mentioned in this book. But it had some of the same traits that were also in this book. For example, McBee was controlled by his wife. Controlled. And when she died, McBee didn't know what to do. He went bananas. In this book, Jason pretty much controlled Macy. And when they broke up, Macy didn't know what to do. She felt sad, lonely, confused, imperfect. She was not together. Another one of the chapters is So Does Season, that chapter about seasons and their significance. The setting of this story is in the early summer, like June. And typically, the summer connotes life and living and opportunities and new beginnings and everything. The spring is typically birth, and then the summer is typically life. And Macy doesn't have life. She just doesn't have life. She's not happy. She's not living. But because it's the summer, she has the opportunity to live life and be happy. Then there's a chapter about symbols, and a significant symbol was the wishbone that was on the back of the Wish catering van, which is also on the cover of the book. And the wishbone typically signifies a really, really strong desire. The wishbone for Macy was significant because it gave her hope. It was what she tried to chase to find her happiness. It's a fancy. Foster talked about flying, basically. At the end of the book, Macy tries to run after Wes to catch up to him after he's leaving. And she's running so very fast that she literally is flying. So that flying that she did, it symbolized her desire to get away from her old life. The last one, it could possibly be a mix of two other chapters. So the chapter that I said it should probably go under is never just heart disease. But it could also go under the ironies chapter. Let me explain. Macy's dad passed away. He passed away. And he was running and he had a heart attack. Macy's dad was the nicest guy that anyone ever knew. Ironically, the guy with the big heart died of a heart attack. This is where I'm seeing the irony chapter could come in. Also, the rarely just heart disease part, that didn't stop him from doing what he wanted to do. He still ran. This book was an amazing read, and I most definitely recommend it to teenagers who like reading about romance and young adult novels. Basically, any teenager who liked The Fault in Our Stars. Thank you for watching. I hope that you find The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen and you read it because it's a great book. It's a really, really great book.